When the sun comes up on America, across open fields, small towns, and city streets, a new day begins. And here, we rise with it. This is where hard work meets headlines, where truth matters, and America wakes up informed.
An interesting week.
They all are.
This is your country. This is your morning. This is Daybreak with Steve and Ivy Gruber. America, let's do it together.
Love you, Ivy.
Love you too.
And it starts right now.
All right, let's dig deep into it. Here we go into another action-packed day, fighting for you for the foxhole of freedom. It is the relentless pursuit of truth here every day. So let's get rolling. A lot to cover, as always. There are three big things to start this Thursday. Number one, a tiny African nation with a deep water port inviting the United States to set up military bases in the Red Sea to defend against Houthi terrorists, among others. It's a great offer. Number two, President Trump gathered his cabinet at the White House yesterday, and everything was on the table, including Iran, the economy, and fraud. We have details coming up. It's remarkable. And number three, today I'm fighting for you, the taxpayers, and setting the record straight again. Why? Well, because fraud schemes are running rampant across this nation like cockroaches at a New York City subway station. And for years, the swamp in Washington let it happen. Billions, hundreds of billions, maybe even trillions, if we believe some estimates, stolen, while hardworking Americans like you foot the bill. But thank God we have a fighter back in the White House, President Trump. In his administration, they're cracking skulls on this epidemic, and the results are pouring in already. Under the Biden-Harris disaster, the floodgates opened wide. Remember the COVID relief money? Trillions poured out in a panic, and the fraudsters feasted. The Paycheck Protection Program, PPP loans, meant to keep small businesses alive, turned into the biggest grift in American history, from what I can tell. Estimates from the Small Business Administration's own Inspector General put potentially fraudulent PPP loans at around $64 billion or more, with overall pandemic relief hitting $200 billion or higher in some select programs. Among those getting caught, 22 crooks set up fake companies, used stolen identities, and pocketed cash for businesses that never existed. Luxury cars, vacations, even strip clubs. Your tax dollars at work. Unemployment insurance? Over $100 billion in fraud claims there, with ghost claimants and people collecting benefits while still working under the table. Vice President J.D. Vance hosted a roundtable on fraud earlier this week, and here's just some of what he has found already. Listen.
Just 2 months, we exposed billions of dollars in benefits that had been stolen from the American people. We referred over $22 billion in fraudulent small business loans back to the Treasury for collection. We deferred more than $1.3 billion in fraudulent Medicaid reimbursements that were coming from various states, particularly California. We put a 6-month hold on enrollments for new hospice and home health care providers because so many of the newer hospice providers were not actually providing hospice services, but were just focused on fraud. So we're going to cut that out for a little bit and try to get to a place where we can actually certify that the people providing hospice services are actually providing those very necessary and important services. We recovered taxpayer funds from the $135 billion stolen after the floodgates were open in the immediate aftermath of COVID. We have found $6.3 billion in suspected fraudulent government contracts, which were mostly awarded during the last administration, and that has stopped. And finally, we've blocked $60 million in student aid fraud that should have gone to young people trying to get an education, but instead we're going to fraudsters.
Now, these weren't victimless crimes, like some would say. Real mom and pop shops got squeezed out while connected operators laughed all the way to the bank. And don't get me started on Medicare and Medicaid. These programs bleed money every year. In just one massive 2025 healthcare fraud crackdown, authorities charged 324 defendants for schemes involving almost $15 billion in false claims, the largest in history so far. Doctors billing for Botox that was never given, pharmacies pushing unnecessary medications, transnational gangs using stolen identities to milk the system. California alone had one guy plead guilty to a $270 million Medicaid drug fraud scheme. The numbers are staggering. Government-wide improper payments, many tied to fraud, waste, and abuse, run into the hundreds of billions of dollars annually across federal programs. Medicaid improper payments alone were estimated in the tens of billions recently, with plenty of outright scams hidden in the insufficient documentation excuses. 11 identity theft rings, bid rigging in government contracts, fake hospice and home health claims, and the list just goes on and on and on. President Trump says it is mind-boggling. Here he is.
A couple of very strong women, too. But I was watching that last night. I said, I'm proud of you guys. In 2 months, we've exposed tens of billions of dollars of defrauded taxpayer money, prosecuted numerous fraudsters, Todd, and stopped billions of suspicious payments, very suspicious. Oh, you haven't seen anything yet? What do you see? I'm getting reports from Todd, from JD. I've never seen anything like it. The kind of just hundreds of billions of dollars was stolen. And no other administration would do what we're doing. Just let it go. Everybody was getting rich. And I think we have a chance to save Social Security without doing anything to it by just the numbers of fraudulent.
Yeah. Save Social Security by saving the theft. This isn't incompetence. It's a feature of a bloated bureaucracy the Democrats defended for years and still do. Open borders under Joe Biden let in more than economic migrants. They enabled fraud networks exploiting lax verification. Welfare programs, student aid, you name it, scammers treat Uncle Sam like a piggy bank with no lock. The co-chair for this anti-fraud task force, Andrew Ferguson, ties almost all of this fraud directly back to third world immigration importation. Here's what he said.
Benefits programs and our whole society was designed for a high-trust people. The American people rightly expect that their fellow citizens will deal with them and with the government honestly and fairly. That's why for up until the last decade or so, shelves in our grocery stores and our pharmacies were open and readily accessible. We weren't accustomed to seeing security guards outside of banks or jewelry stores. We didn't have to worry about organized retail theft or industrial scale scammers of the type you all protect your citizens from every day, nor did we have to worry about piratical fraudsters raiding our benefits program. But sadly, that is no longer true. It's become clear that huge groups of people in this country are taking advantage of our longstanding culture of trust to enrich themselves at the expense of the American people.
Yeah. Ferguson went on to give some pretty accurate examples of how this has changed our society as a whole. Here's more from what he said.
Just this weekend, I was shopping at a big home improvement store to buy a drill to do some home improvement. And I had to hit a call button and wait 15 minutes for a sales associate to come unlock a steel cage and a steel padlock to get access to a drill. It's why deodorant is now locked behind plastic windows at pharmacies. It's why security guards are seen at every store in America. The social trust has evaporated and people are taking advantage of it, and the same is true with our federal benefits programs. Huge segments of the population have decided to take advantage of this generosity and trust of American citizens through deception and fraud, and billions of dollars each year leave our programs into the hands of pirates, fraudsters, scammers, and gangs who treat American generosity as little more than a get-quick-rich scheme.
You know, we shouldn't have to live this way. We shouldn't. Thankfully, President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance are on a mission to get it fixed. We'll talk more about that coming up. Nice to see you on a Thursday. Good morning. Look, it's going to take real action to clean up all this fraud. President Trump isn't just talking about draining the swamp. He's firing bureaucrats, appointing warriors, and delivering results, as you can see. Early in this term, he established this task force to eliminate fraud, putting Vice President J.D. Vance in charge to coordinate a full spectrum assault on waste, fraud, and abuse across federal benefit programs. This isn't some blue ribbon panel for photo ops. It's about real enforcement. Verifying eligibility, pausing suspicious payments, sharing data between agencies, and prosecuting the criminals. Prosecuting them. Look at what's happening on the ground. CMS Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz, working with Secretary RFK Jr. and Vance, announced major crackdowns on healthcare fraud. They suspended billions in suspected fraudulent Medicare payments using advanced analytics. They hit a nationwide moratorium on new enrollments for certain durable medical equipment suppliers, those wheelchair and oxygen scams that have plagued seniors for decades. In Minnesota, of course, they deferred Medicaid funding over questionable claims. In California, probes into shady hospices also led to deferred payments. Stephen Miller says it's enough to completely turn this ship around. Maybe. Here he is.
Not abiding by our laws, and the amount that has been fleeced from us is in the hundreds of billions of dollars. I believe, based on what I've seen and what I've heard, is that we could balance the federal budget if the only dollars that went out of the Treasury went to individuals who were properly, lawfully, correctly eligible to receive them. And that ultimately is going to be what we have to do as a country. In the meantime, because of the Vice President's leadership, you are seeing the most muscular, robust, aggressive, dedicated, determined, and speedy effort to shut down criminal fraud that has not only ever occurred in the history of this country, but in any developed nation. So thank you.
The DOJ under Trump is going after healthcare fraud like never before. That record $14.6 billion takedown shows they're not playing games. They're targeting everything from fake claims to kickback schemes. The administration's creating new divisions focused on fraud enforcement and modernizing payment systems to stop the theft before it starts. Remember, Trump tried this in his first term, too, pushing for integrity in government spending. Now, with a mandate from the people, it's turbocharged. Executive orders are eliminating information silos so agencies can actually catch the crooks instead of passing the buck. Task forces are reviewing contracts and student loans and so much more. They've already blocked suspicious borrowers and referred massive PPP EIDL cases for recovery. And why does this matter? Because every dollar stolen from these programs is a dollar not going to our veterans or our infrastructure or actually helping those in genuine need. It's inflation fuel. It's debt piled on our kids and grandkids. This should be a bipartisan issue, but get this. Every single Democrat attorney general refused to show up for that roundtable. Everyone. It's a disgrace, and it's telling. Fraud weakens trust in government, and the left loves a weak, distrusted system they can control. MAGA knows better. Secure the border, secure elections, secure spending. Trump's team is restoring accountability, and he's not scared to drop names. Here's an example.
They're crooks. They're thieves, and I hope that Todd is going to do a real job. These are crooked people. These are thieves. This isn't like a mistake. Just talking about one person, he got hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars for securing one man, for taking care of one elderly man. He was a service. He got paid millions of dollars for taking care of one man. Total crook. They're all crooks. The Somalians, what they've done to Minnesota, the Somalians, they're crooked as hell. Ilhan Omar, crooked as hell. They're all crooks. And we got them. We got them. Now we're putting the clamps on.
And Congresswoman Omar can continue to call President Trump a racist and a bigot, but it won't change the fact that he's not going to allow her to scheme any longer. She was central to legislation that did away with much of the verification that should have been there for COVID relief. Why, you ask? So she could procure more handouts for her friends like multiple restaurant owners and program leaders who she publicly praised and platformed, who have now been outed as fraudsters. Convicted ringleader Amy Bach claimed in a jailhouse interview that Omar knew about phony handout claims due to close community ties and outreach to her office. Bach said many operators worked directly with her or her staff on such waivers. And the cherry on top is that many of these fraudsters donated to her campaign. Imagine that. Basically, your tax dollars going there. Of course, Omar denies all of it, but she also won't comply with a single subpoena or probe, which isn't helping her innocent bystander story. Accountability is coming. And this fight is winnable because we have a president who puts America first. Trump survived lawfare, at least 3 assassination attempts, and the Steele attempts because he's built differently. He's surrounding himself with outsiders like Vance, Oz, RFK Jr., to name a few. People who actually want to fix things, not perpetuate the grift. And the results, billions suspended, prosecutions ramping up, systems being hardened. This saves money. It lowers costs for all of us and protects legitimate beneficiaries. No more sacred cows, all right? Every program gets scrutinized. To my fellow Americans, report fraud when you see it. Support these efforts. The deep state hates sunlight, but we're shining the brightest light in decades. Trump's delivering on his promises, securing our financial house just like he's securing the border. This isn't the end, it's the beginning of taking our country back from thieves and enablers. And that is the monologue for today. Today's episode brought to you by PuroClean's Veterans Initiative, PuroVet program. Veterans, if you're ready to be your own boss, join a trusted team and brand. And serve your community in a brand new way. 855 PuroVet or purovet.com. Look, guys, this is a great program with a great company that I've had the pleasure of working with after a house fire. When it comes to restoration, this company has been over the top, honestly. And they put veterans to the front of the line, cut fees, make it possible for veterans to be part of the community by owning a real restoration company. It's a remarkable program. If you're a veteran or know somebody who is, go to purovet.com. See where you might fit into something pretty big. I'll take a break and I'll be right back. You know, I keep watching this race in Maine. Graham Plattner, Democrats are fleeing him now, saying his history that keeps bubbling to the surface, anti-Semitism, attacking a military veteran who had been shot a number of times, saying he deserved to die. A Purple Heart recipient who didn't die, Graham Plattner said he deserved to die. And the list goes on and on. But right now, Graham Plattner is leading in the polls by 8 and 10 points, even though Democrats are abandoning him now in droves. I mean, the Nazi tattoo enough is disqualifying. Oh, I didn't know what it was. Yeah, go with that. And my dog ate my homework. Meanwhile, more fraud that I'm going to share with you coming up. The feds seized $40 million in gold bars, cash, Rolexes, and more from a former CIA official who faked being a Navy pilot and test pilot. Now, how is that possible? Seriously, how is that possible? You work for the CIA, and they can't figure out that your resume is a fraud? Unbelievable. $40 million in gold bars in his house. That's quite something. That is quite something. Yeah. Well, for over 3 years, I've been sharing with you all the amazing benefits of Patriots Relief CBD. These products have not only brought tremendous relief to Ivy and myself, but our dog, our late dog Cody now, but boy, she had a couple of great years. When we gave her the CBD, she was old. I thought, not going to go too much longer. She went 2.5 more years. It brought significant relief and allowed her to be a lot more active for that 2.5 years. And seeing the improvement in the quality of her life brought us great comfort. Look, it helped the dog. She didn't understand CBD. We just snuck it in her food. Imagine if Cody can feel relief through CBD, what could it feel and what could happen to you? Find out more. Call Patriots Relief, 877-203-1776. Or go to patriotsrelief.com. Place your order today. There's 40% off today at Patriots Relief because you're listening. Free shipping with the promo code Gruber, too. Again, 877-230-1776. Or go to patriotsrelief.com. Use the promo code Gruber. Get 40% off and free shipping. It's a pretty good deal. You'll be glad you did it. I'll be back. All right, let's jump right back into it now. A number of years ago now, I had an attorney approach me and say, look, I've got a client here who has been looking into PFAS. These are those forever chemicals that, cause cancer and a lot of other health problems that have become ubiquitous in our environment because they're in popcorn bags, they're in the water-resistant stuff you put on your carpet or your couch. They were in the military pretty much everywhere, aqueous firefighting foam. And it's not gotten any better. That attorney was David Coleman, senior partner with the Coleman Legal Group. He joins me this morning. David, good morning.
Morning, Steve. Good to be with you.
Yeah, and we were talking about this in the break. This goes back to maybe 2017. You had a whistleblower in Michigan who had done investigations and research into a former Air Force base and found the place was off the scale when it came to these chemicals. And people there at Wordsmith had all sorts of odd cancers, thyroid cancers. There were women that had grown up there on that base that were getting complete hysterectomies at the age of 18, 19, just horrendous problems. And this PFAS poison, if you will, gets into the water. And you can see it because oftentimes the water will foam up. And the kids would go play in this foam when they were kids. They didn't know any better. There's foam in the lake. Hey, something to play in. The situation has not gotten better. This PFAS, we were one of the first to ring the bell a decade ago. But, man, it's gotten a lot of attention now, hasn't it?
It sure has, Steve. And there's been a couple of recent articles in the media and a lot of coverage. Two things. You know, Michigan has the Wordsmith Air Force Base up north, Camp Grayling, other places where these PFAS were used for decades. And the problem they're finding with these is a lot of times there's natural barriers, you know, and with the land and other things that will stop the flow of most contaminants. Not on PFAS. They go everywhere, and it's ubiquitous. And so the two stories, one was the Air Force is now delaying the cleanup. They've pushed it back 5 years, and you've got all these problems up in Otsego and northern Michigan, and cancers and, you know, birth defects and all kinds of things. And now they're pushing it back 5 years before they're going to start any remediation or cleanup.
Well,
so people
really
are
difficult.
really upset about that.
Yeah, you know, and I've been told that Camp Lejeune might be the most contaminated piece of real estate in the entire country because of all the military work there over many years. So it's not like this is isolated to Michigan. This aqueous firefighting foam is great if there's a plane on fire on an aircraft carrier. It works really well. It puts it out. It's an emergency. But the problem is it was used in so many places. In Oscoda there, at Wordsmith, they practiced with it almost daily. That's why it was in the soil, in the groundwater, everywhere. You know, polar bears have tested positive for these PFAS. They're nowhere near these products. I mean, you go around the world, it's in all of us. And I wonder about the overall health concerns. And we were told, Bob Delaney was the man who wrote that. He wrote a report for the state of Michigan that was promptly ignored for years before he came on this program a decade ago and tore back the curtain. And he said at that time, a decade ago, when we were talking to him on the program, said the problem here is the cost of cleanup is beyond anything that's possible. Tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars, because the only way that they currently have to get rid of this stuff is incineration. Well, you can't burn all the dirt. You can't burn all the water, right? I mean, it's a staggering problem, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is. And it's ubiquitous. It's everywhere, like you say. You buy pizza and the pizza box comes. You've got PFAS coating those pizza boxes.
That's right.
You get fast food, wrappers, cups that you drink out of. I mean, it's everywhere. And now, of course, you have MDHHS here in Michigan, our Health and Human Services, just put out a warning this summer. If you're out in the lakes, you know, Great Lakes in Michigan, rivers, ponds, anywhere you are, foam, people are seeing more and more of this foam coming up. It's kind of brownish, maybe a little off-white color, that sort of thing. And like you said, kids play in it and all that sort of thing. Well, they're finding this foam is full of PFAS. And so they're warning people, don't touch the foam here in Michigan. And if you do, you must bathe and immediately rinse off and get it off your body because it'll be absorbed and can cause lifelong health problems. And so MDHHS just put out this warning last week. That was the second story. And it just shows how big of a problem this is. And honestly, it might be something that's just, how do you really handle it? It's so enormous.
Yeah, it is enormous. And how do you rid yourself? I did see some studies, a year or two ago, that they had found a way that magnetizing the water would collect the molecules to the magnet, but that's early research. Here's the problem. Like I said, when polar bears have it and everything in between, and it's in you, it's in me, and it causes, weird cancers. There was also some work done that said there might be a connection to autism. And wouldn't that make sense? This rise in autism, this rise in PFAS, there's no cause and effect here. Early studies again, so I don't want to make people think that there's, a direct line there. But it makes you question, these crazy cancers that are being seen and that's in the ground, and the military used it everywhere, all over the world. It's frightening to me, but what can anybody do? You're an attorney. Let's say somebody worked at that Air Force base. Well, you're in the military. You probably don't have any grounds to sue because you signed all that paperwork. If you're a private citizen, however, living adjacent to that base, and you got poisoned by this, there might be something, right?
There could be, but of course you have issues of governmental immunity, and can a private citizen sue, the federal government because of all these cancers and problems that are coming? Really the only way to have a surefire remedy for people would be if Congress were to act and create some kind of a remedy or fund. Like President Trump just did a fund for people who have been wrongfully prosecuted by the federal government. And people can tap that fund to help pay for their legal fees. But again, Steve, you're talking hundreds of billions, maybe trillions of dollars here. I don't know where the money's going to come from. It's a real problem unless somebody can come up with a way to get rid of it. Like you say, there's new research, things like that. This is going to be an ongoing problem.
Well,
but people need to be aware and stay away from those things if you're out in the lakes and the ponds.
Yeah, if you see this brownish foam, don't let the kids play in it. But, my little bit of hope here, David, is that maybe Robert F. Kennedy Jr. can focus on this at Health and Human Services. He's a guy who's taken on polluters. He's taken on the big pharma industry. He's taken on the vaccine manufacturer. He's taken on a lot of people in his career as an activist. And now he's in charge. Maybe there's something there. Last word to you.
Yeah, I think at least there's people in place who care about the problem and are going to try to look for the solutions. I think the last administration ignored it and did nothing about it. So hopefully we can get some of the best and brightest minds looking at this and coming up with some solutions, because it's a problem that's affecting all of us. It's not just outdoorsmen or a few people. You can be living your life in a city and think you're immune from this sort of thing. No, you're not. You're being exposed to this stuff all the time. You got to be careful.
Yeah. I like microwave popcorn. There it is. I like pizza delivery. Yeah. There it is. I like to sit on my couch that has water-resistant product. There it is. Anyhow, David, thank you for being here. We're going to have, we're going to try to get that whistleblower on the program. David's going to reach out because you should hear from him. He's been studying it for decades. David Coleman, as always, thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Great to be with you again.
Nice to see you. Senior partner, Coleman Legal Group, David Coleman. What do you think of this? Send me an email, stevegruber.com. I'll be right back. You ever look at pictures of like, maybe you're in it, a picture of a high school graduation class, 1960s, 1970s, and compare it to a class you see today? We don't even look like the same species. We don't. I mean, the incident of morbid obesity in this country, and kids, you see kids that are just so overweight, and you're thinking, at least I think to myself, that kid's being set up for a terrible life. Well, in this America 250, maybe it's time to celebrate with getting in shape and feeling better. And feeling better about this country. How about all that, right? How about a patriotic look at the way we look at ourselves? Missy Malone from My Pure Health is joining me. Missy, good morning.
Hi, thanks for having me, Steve.
A health revolution to celebrate the 250th anniversary of our country. And like you always say, Missy, it's not your fault. You've tried the diets, you've tried this, you've tried that. It's your metabolism. And all these, little tricks really aren't the key, are they? It's actually getting your metabolism back online and firing it back up.
And that's right, because everything with being fake news, well, the diet industry is kind of like fake news. They sell everybody a one-size-fits-all solution to a very unique problem going on the inside of the body. And so that's what we help people do, is let them know first, it's not your fault that you can't lose weight. Because you didn't really know, you don't know what's controlling it yet until you have a consultation.
Yeah, there are a lot of people out there. Multi-billion-dollar industry is this weight loss. But you've got a way, you look at each person, because what's good for me is not the same for you, is it?
Correct. Each person, inside our biology is quantum biology. The metabolism is run by whether or not the systems on the inside of the body are functioning or not functioning. So if you're carrying an extra 20, 30 pounds and no matter what you're doing, the scale won't move, it's because the systems on the inside of the body need to have a tune-up. And that's what we do.
So how do you determine that? I mean, I know how you do it, but explain to the folks, how do you do it?
Well, thanks to advanced wellness technology, the technology that we use is in place thanks to a man named Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla from the late 1800s, early 1900s was letting us know that everything's a frequency. So inside the human body, there are 2,800 systems that control the metabolism, and we just have to figure out what's causing the problem. Because as you see, most people are on the yo-yo train. They do the shots, they do the shakes, the prepackaged meals, and all of that good stuff. And no matter what they do, they're not losing weight. And it's because they're trying something from the outside to fix an inside problem.
Yeah, so all the roads, as it says there, lead to the same place, and then you start over, right?
Yeah, that's what we do. Every single person that we see, well, majority of the clients, most of your listeners, when I talk to them, they're from all over the United States. And when they have the consult, I'm like, I want to know your age, height, your current weight, what kind of medications are you on, and what have you done to lose weight over the years? And I mean, and it's a lot of sad conversations I have, frankly. Some people, they're in their late 50s, they've been in Weight Watchers since they were 5, and I'm like, I didn't know it was around that long. And so people carry a lot of shame and blame and guilt because they try and try and try again, and they get a little bit of hope, and then they try something different, and it just fails.
All right, so my question is, what actually controls my metabolism? How do I start it again? That's a question people ask.
Absolutely. This is what's controlling metabolism. It's hormones, it's your stress, it's digestion. This is the client before you, or not the client, the guy before you talking about PFAS, water contaminants. There are toxins inside the body. And again, thanks to the wellness technology the advanced technology that we have, again, Nikola Tesla style, we have to figure out what is interrupting your body, so that way your body should naturally metabolism. Most people don't understand you can turn a metabolism back on, and that's what we do. So you have to get to the root of the problem, address it with the technology scan that we do, and then get a customized approach, get a customized solution. You just need to give us a call so we can explain it in further detail.
I did this in 2018, and I was a skeptic, you know that. But you are different because it's not replacement meals, it's not shakes, it's not points, it's not any of that nonsense. It's real food and doing it the right way, correct?
Absolutely. This is 100% natural. This body is designed to know how to heal and repair itself. You just have to know what's causing the problem. And it's all natural. I mean, just like RFK Jr. is saying, he wants to incentivize doctors to start de-prescribing medication. Well, I'm not a doctor, but I'm definitely going to be helping a lot of doctors de-prescribe their patients because they've come through our system.
All right,
And again,
so it worked for me, but it worked for other people too. I've seen the emails and got some examples right there in front of us. I mean, real results for real people, isn't it, Missy?
absolutely, a functioning metabolism is going to eat stored fat. All those people right there, their metabolism, we got it working again, and that is the most of the cheap people that you see right there did that in less than 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
So for America 250, you've got an offer for us today because, look, I've done it. I don't care where you live in America. Florida,
right,
Fargo, Washington, Wyoming, doesn't matter. There's a
right.
special here. 25% off. Missy, tell them about it.
Absolutely. All you have to do in honor of America being, I'm a big patriot. I want to offer the Steve Gruber listeners 25% off of our weight loss plan. Majority of our clients will end up doing a 40-day weight loss protocol, and where the average woman's going to lose anywhere from 20 to 28 pounds in 40 days, and that's 2 to 3 pant sizes because we're talking about
Right.
true body fat, not weight, not muscle, but body fat. And so in the men, you guys drop anywhere from 35 to 50 pounds in 40 days
I
because
did.
we're going to jumpstart it. Yes,
Yeah.
we need a jumpstart. No one's surprised when we jumpstart the car.
That's right.
It's not surprising when we
All right.
jumpstart the material.
All you have to do if you're listening, look, I did it in 2018. Still here, still looking good. 25% off gruberhealth.com. Gruberhealth.com. Get a free consultation right now with my good friend Missy, who changed my life. I didn't even know my life was going to be changed. She did it for me. Missy, nice to see you today as always.
Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it.
There you have it, gruberhealth.com. Look, 25% off. Celebrate America with less weight. Huh? 25% off gruberhealth.com. Gruberhealth.com. Trust me. I am just fascinated by this story that I'm reading here, and I want to share more of it with you because the headline is this. The Fed sees $40 million in gold bars, cash, Rolexes from former CIA official who faked being a Navy pilot. You're getting a job at the CIA. You would think if there's anybody on the planet that could vet your job resume or your background, it would be the CIA, right? Apparently not. A former senior U.S. government official with top secret security clearance arrested when the FBI raided his Virginia home, discovered 303 1-kilogram gold bars. 303. It's worth about $40 million today's money. $2 million in cash. 35 luxury watches, and a whole lot more. David Rush, arrested May the 19th, facing federal charges for theft of public money after allegedly the government screwing the government out of tens of millions of dollars while posing as a highly decorated Navy Reserve captain and Air Force test pilot, of which he was neither. He works for the CIA. I mean, come on. You guys, wow. According to an unsealed criminal complaint and FBI affidavit, the grift unraveled after Rush made multiple requests to his agency beginning in November of 25 through March of 26 for a significant quantity of foreign currency and tens of millions of dollars in gold bars for work he needed to do, he said. He said it was work-related expenses, but apparently not. The federal investigation revealed that despite holding a senior executive service rank, top secret clearance, Rush routinely lied about his military background and education. In applications for his high-level job, he claimed he was a graduate of the U.S. Air Force Test Pilot School and current director of tests for a 145-person, 18-aircraft Joint Army-Navy Weapons Test Organization, all of which was false. I mean, you could just pick up the phone. Hey, do you know this Rush guy?
I mean,
also,
was he doing a good job in his role?
I don't
besides
know.
stealing?
He was doing a good job. $40 million in gold bars in the house. Work-related. Yeah. Well, we don't have that problem here. All right, we don't have that problem. It's just bizarre. Anyhow, I'm going to take a break. I'll be back. Ivy will be joining me. Got a little special announcement for that one after this.
America's awake, and we're just getting started. The headlines that matter, the stories they won't tell you, and the voices fighting to be heard. This is your country, your morning, your daybreak with Steve and Ivy Gruber. A new hour starts right now on Real America's Voice.
All right, welcome back to it as we jump into it, fighting for you from the foxhole, from the relentless pursuit of truth here. And three big things this hour. Number one, the Clarity Act for crypto could soon send the currencies soaring. Many analysts are saying the same thing, and they are waiting on President Trump to sign the measure into law, which should happen between now and some say he might sign it on the 4th of July. We'll find out. Number two, you've seen the mobs of teenagers raging in the streets, terrorizing communities, injuring police too. And in Chicago, the mayor is blaming not the criminals. He's blaming social media, of course. And number three, so Ken Paxton wiped out a 4-term Republican Senator John Cornyn in Texas Tuesday, and Democrats think they have a lane to turn Texas blue for the first time in decades. And I want Ivy to jump in here and have a little say and a little listen to what we're going to check out here. Ivy, good morning. Oh, and happy birthday.
Oh, thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
Hello, happy to be here.
Yes, you are. 21 years old and happy and free.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Careful, don't tell people that. They might actually believe it.
Yeah.
I was going to say 25, but man, I didn't give you enough credit. That's my fault.
Thank you, Brock. All right.
Happy birthday, Mrs. Gruber.
Thank you.
I want you to hear this. He always calls you Mrs. Gruber. He's so polite. But this is the guy, Ivy, and I think this is a gift, not a birthday gift, but a gift to the Republicans in Texas. This is the guy, James Tallarico.
Oh, yeah.
They think that it's going to turn the Lone Star State blue. Here is the first Republican ad following Ken Paxton's win. And it's pretty educational. Listen.
Democrats have a weird candidate.
God is non-binary. There are many more than 2 biological sexes. In fact, there are 6. It is now existential that we try to reduce our meat consumption. The American flag is such a complicated symbol for most of us. Prophetic voices like Jesus have helped me reckon with my own whiteness, my own masculinity. Our southern border should be like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front. No need to sit and cry over, your whiteness or your masculinity. They're gonna call me a radical leftist.
Something that you love, that's not family or friends.
I love, I'm just saying this because it's on my mind, the trans children.
The Democrats have a weird candidate.
Low T Tallarico, too weak for Texas. Lone Star Liberty PAC is responsible
Low
for
T Tallarico. Ivy, the material is
genders.
endless. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. And what is it? He said something along the lines of, my whiteness, or let's put a welcome mat out on our border. I can go on and on.
Oh,
but
and he's anti-meat, anti-red meat. That's going to fly in Texas.
Exactly.
Yeah. No steaks in Texas.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Trans children.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Anyhow, by the way, Mr. Tallarico,
there's no
such
chance
thing.
in hell that guy wins anything.
Yeah.
Not in Texas.
No, I don't know that he'd win in Massachusetts with that kind of theology. Anyhow, on this wonderful day, what's on your mind?
So interesting story. The FBI arrests a former CIA official over $40 million that he has worth of gold bars stashed in his Virginia home.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. 303 1 kilogram bar. 300. That's 2.2 pounds per bar, and it was work related, Ivy. So work related.
Yeah, he also had roughly $2 million in cash. 35 luxury watches, many of them Rolexes.
Of course.
And it's like, where did you get all this stuff?
Here's the question I was asking a little while ago. He works for the CIA. He faked that he was a Navy test pilot. He faked that he was having all these different things. You work for the CIA. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you think that's the one place you would go and they could actually do a background check that was of value? The guy's been lying to him for years. Oh, yeah, I'm a Navy test pilot. I'm a veteran. I've done all these things. I went to Clemson University, none of which was true. How could that possibly happen?
How can you, not only that, but how can you just create this complete false life and then tell people that that's what you do, and you're selling a lie. Like how bizarre.
He sold it well. $40 million. I mean, that
Although,
takes up
isn't
some
that
space.
kind of what the CIA does sometimes? They go in and they infiltrate and they pretend to be other people. Maybe he fits right in.
If I have if I would have accumulated that kind of stash legally, you'd never see me again. I would be someplace.
Wait, Brock. You wouldn't invite us? That's not very polite.
No, here's what I would do. Number one, I would buy a place in the South, whether it's Florida or Arizona, someplace warmer. And then I would have a place up north because, as you know, there's no place greater in the world in the summertime than northern Michigan.
That's true.
It's wonderful. And then I would have parties at both places, and I would invite lots and lots of people. And, of course, both of you. And, yes, you too, Anthony.
Reluctantly.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm just kidding. Come on now.
Anyhow, I can't believe this guy got away with it. And then they raided his house.
So strange.
So strange.
Well, he didn't really get away with it. He's been caught now.
He got away with it for a while.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, it took a while to stack 303 1 kilo bars, anyhow.
I mean, does it take that long? I don't know. So what do you think about if we created an AI hologram of you, Steve, and, place this hologram in everyone's living room so that they can have a intimate experience during your morning show?
I've been saying it for years. The next step of evolution in media is that I will be in their living room, or you'll be in their living room, sitting there telling them the news.
And in the form of a hologram or in artificial reality, the AR glasses, things like that. We've been talking about that before. It's been really popular. But there's, in the LaGuardia airport, there's actually a very realistic AI hologram that you can go up to it, ask it questions. Hey, where do I get to this gate? Tell me about where this is located. Or if you need any sort of like instructions, you can go up to this hologram, ask it questions, and it will give you back answers. Would you be willing to try such a thing?
It's like Star Wars. It's Princess Leia being projected there, right? In the hologram, and here she is. I don't know, but I did a little bit of reading about that as well. This hologram, I think if I understand this correctly, will walk around the airport with you.
Oh, wow. I did not realize that.
But here's my concern with it. You've already got kids who say they can have an intimate relationship with an AI personality.
Well, no.
I mean, now you've taken it to the next level.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Exactly. I agree, Steve. I didn't even actually consider that. And I know that I have actually brought it up many times where there are young people who do have these relationships with, these AI generators. And now imagine if you can have a hologram. Oh, man, that is a scary thing. Well, now, in terms of being helpful in this regard, I'm okay with it. But if you can bring it into your home and then all of a sudden you never see your kid.
That's why I call it the electronic devil.
Yeah.
It's just a another step down that very slippery path, I think. Anyhow.
No kidding.
So you'd use it?
Yeah, I'd use it in the airport if I needed help, sure.
All right.
You cannot, sometimes it's hard to find people. Yeah. Like, hey, there's a hologram.
Oh my God. Hey, hologram person. What do you guys think? Send us an email, stevegruber.com. Holograms, good thing, bad thing. Happy birthday, Ivy. Love you.
Love you.
All right, we'll take a break. Weigh in, stevegruber.com. I'll be back. All right, back at it now as we jump in. My next guest, Jacob Hubert, Senior Litigation Counsel at the New Civil Liberties Alliance. He previously served as President and Director of the Litigation of the Liberty Justice Center. On tap today, those unconstitutional ID laws for gun owners in the state of Illinois. Show your papers. Show your papers. And that's just one example. Virginia also doing egregiously unconstitutional things. Jacob, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
It seems that these states are immune to the Supreme Court. They don't even care that the Supreme Court has been clear about the ability for me to carry, to protect myself in private, in public. And so tell the folks about these papers in Illinois, what's being demanded of the government there.
Well, in Illinois, you can't so much as touch a gun unless you go and get the government's permission in advance. In Illinois, you have to apply to the state police to get a permit before you can possess or use any firearm in any way, anywhere, anytime, which is really extreme, of course, considering that the having a firearm is a fundamental constitutional right. And the whole point of a constitutional right is that you don't have to ask the government's permission to do a thing. So we have filed a lawsuit in federal court arguing that this violates Illinoisans' Second Amendment rights and their right not to be deprived of their liberty without due process.
All right, so how can they do this? And how is it not being challenged in the United States Supreme Court, honestly? Because here, I've talked about this on the program before, but if I jump in my car in Michigan and I drive to Montana with my concealed carry permit, it's legal in every state except Illinois, where I have to stop, unload my firearm, put it in a locking case, put it in the back of the vehicle somewhere, and then proceed until I get to the Iowa border, at which point I can take it back out and continue my trip west. We need reciprocity in this country. It applies to just about everything, but they refuse, states like Illinois, New York, California, refuse to observe reciprocity when it comes to gun ownership. It's not right, is it?
No, right? The Second Amendment rights apply to all Americans equally across the country. And some of these states, Illinois, one of the worst among them, have done everything they can since the Supreme Court recognized that the Second Amendment protects an individual right to keep and bear arms to stop people from exercising that right. They used to just, in Chicago, ban having a firearm completely for everybody. Well, they couldn't do that anymore, but then they've still got this permit in your way. They still ban different types of guns. They keep putting every obstacle they can in the way. But fortunately, a few years ago, the Supreme Court made clear how courts are supposed to address Second Amendment challenges to laws that restrict the right to keep and bear arms. And it's pretty clear how they have to analyze it. And it's pretty clear why this rule in Illinois should fail.
More recently, and I do want to take a look at Virginia, because just in the last couple of weeks, they've introduced a whole flurry of gun control measures, outlawing guns, banning commonly used firearms. And as Clarence Thomas said, the Second Amendment's not a second-class right. It is part of the Constitution and has been from day one. It's part of the Bill of Rights. It's considered incredibly important to me and to millions of others. But Virginia knows it won't pass court muster, but they don't care because they figure if there's a year in between or 2 years in between, maybe they can collect guns from law-abiding citizens. That's got to be the play, right?
It would seem like it, that not only do lawsuits take a long time to play out, between the Supreme Court's decision in the Heller case saying that the Second Amendment protects an individual right, and its more recent decision in the Bruin case making that even clearer, lots of challenges to gun laws that should have failed, challenges that should have succeeded, failed because there are courts in part of this country that essentially acted like the decision said something different from what it said and upheld all kinds of firearm restrictions. And for a long time, the Supreme Court didn't review those lower court decisions, and so they've gotten away with this. But in recent years, the courts are getting better on this because the Supreme Court has now spoken so clearly on how to handle these. And so now it is a really good time to be taking on these kinds of restrictions to hopefully get them struck down where they are and stop them from spreading across the country.
Jacob, does that mean, in your estimation, that maybe these things won't take as long because the Supreme Court's already ruled? So if somebody asks for an emergency hearing, for example, for Virginia or Illinois, that maybe they'll get to the front of the docket faster than they would have otherwise?
Well, I'd like to think so. It can take a long time for things to play out in the courts, almost no matter what issue you're bringing. So you have to be a little bit patient if you're in the business that I am, suing the government to strike down unconstitutional laws. But we will get there. They don't have much. They don't have an excuse for upholding these things, for delaying these things. So we're optimistic that we'll get a good result in a reasonable amount of time, if not as soon as we all would like.
How important is it, do you think, that the Supreme Court, a lot of rumors that Samuel Alito might resign. He's got some health issues. How important is it for Alito and maybe even Clarence Thomas to say, now is my time after this session ends in June, that they maybe take a leave and allow the president to bring in two much younger justices? Your thoughts. Last word to you.
Well, it's not my place to tell them what they should do. I do know that they've been very good justices on the issue of Second Amendment rights. And if they do step down, I would hope the president would be very careful to pick people who will be just as good, because those votes on the Supreme Court are so important.
Finding people just as good as Alito and Thomas, that's a tall order. I will say that, Jacob, but I appreciate your optimism. Thank you for being here. We'll keep an eye on Illinois. We'll keep an eye on Virginia and all the other states that think that the Second Amendment doesn't apply to their states. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
It's remarkable, isn't it? They don't care. They say that Donald Trump wants to be a king while they ignore the United States Supreme Court rulings on critical matters to you, the citizen. We'll take a break and be back. This is Daybreak. All right, I can't help myself. Maybe it's a morbid curiosity. Maybe it's more. Maybe it's more. But here we go down the rabbit hole, all right? You ready? A researcher, a whistleblower, says the government has not one but 4 different species of alien life in its possession, recovered from downed spacecraft. These claims are coming from Dr. Hal Puthoff, a CIA-funded researcher, former Advanced Aerospace Weapon System Applications Program Advisor, announced a new revelation while appearing on the UFO Roundtable on Steve Bartlett's Diary of a CEO podcast. Given the level of quality of their technology, if they didn't want to be seen, we wouldn't be seeing them, he said on the podcast. So it seems like I would say there's evidence that for whatever reason, they're wanting to be seen. Puthoff went on to claim that federal officials have recovered 4 separate types of extraterrestrial life from various craft. People who have been involved in recoveries have said there are at least 4 types, 4 separate types. Now, I've not had direct access to that, but I believe the people who I talk to, 4 separate types of life. It's interesting to me that every one of these people comes forward and says, I've never actually seen one. Intelligence reports from last year, Davis reportedly claimed that each of the biological life forms pulled from alleged UFO wreckage is similar to humans in appearance because they possess 2 arms and a pair of legs. The revelation does not come as a surprise to many inside the UFO community, but what do you believe? We've been asking this more recently because President Trump has released all of this information now. Millions of documents. But what is the truth? And would it shake up life as we know it? Probably, if this were true, it'd probably change a lot of things. That's why it's been such a closely guarded secret? Is that why? The answer is, I don't know, but I put it out here for you.
And you can check out the interview with Kent Heckenlively on the podcast.
Who's noted here, by the way. Kent Heckenlively appeared on the Forgotten America podcast talking about these subjects and more. You can find that on YouTube. Look up Steve Gruber. You'll find the Forgotten America podcast. You can become a subscriber for free. And a lot of other great topics, too. You're not going to hear anywhere else. Good stuff.
That was well done, Anthony, by the way.
Yeah, well done, Anthony.
Thank you.
Like a real professional.
Yes, yes. I will take my flowers.
Yeah. I'll take a break and be right back. This is Sunrise. Welcome back to the program. I keep telling you this, and I know I'm repeating myself, but I am so thrilled with my ghost bed. Once again, my Oura Ring gave me a crown and said, man, you slept great. I said, thank you, Oura Ring. But it's true, and you can tell. First thing when you wake up, you can tell. Do I have a good night or a bad night? And since we got the ghost bed 3 months ago now, Ivy and I, we have a lot of very good nights. I mean, better than we've had in the past. and it's just been exceptional. Joining me now is Mark Werner. He is the inventor and the creator of Ghost Bed, an American-made bed that you can try for 101 days. And if you don't like it, send it back. I don't know why you wouldn't like it, because, Mark, this is a great product. You developed this because you had some health issues, and you said, I can build a better bed, and you've done that for more than 25 years. And I'm telling you, I get the emails here. And for me and Ivy, this has been a godsend, to be honest with you. Nice to see you again. Tell the folks how you came to do this, because it was so important to you.
Well, thanks for having Ghost Bed on today, Steve. Yeah, this is a personal journey. I had 3 neck surgeries. I couldn't find a pillow or mattress that worked for me. And fortunately, I was born into the Werner ladder family. And my grandfather started over 100 years ago, and my dad invented the aluminum ladder and the fiberglass ladder. So I was reared in that environment. So I understood polymers and quality and branding and manufacturing. So I developed first a pillow that worked for us, and then a mattress that worked for us and worked for everybody. And I started with my wife here in the United States, and then my kids, and created a U.S.-based family business.
And it's great. Yeah, it really is. You mentioned your father, your grandfather, family company built this. I mean, you can't buy a ladder that doesn't have your name on it. Must still give you pride to walk through, wherever you walk through. Oh, it's a Werner ladder. Of course it is. But as we are getting through Memorial Day here, you all said those same members of your family that served this country. It's pretty important stuff.
Shout out to my grandfather, who was a lieutenant colonel in both World War I and World War II. And in between there, he worked for Hoover in the FBI in firearms and tobacco, just because even though he started the Werner Company over 100 years ago, it was kind of a lemonade stand at the beginning. It was just trying to make dinner money for 11 brothers and sisters. He was the eldest. And then my dad served in Korea, and he was quite a crafty guy. He was on the front lines, and then they moved him, given that he's an engineer, to figuring out ways to take engines out of tanks. Usually takes 6 to 8 weeks. He figured out a way to do it in 3 hours. So the superiors liked that he could turn around equipment and rehab it very quickly. So he served, and his brothers, and even my aunt, his sister, was in the Women Army Corps, the WACs. So they have all served, and we're proud. And my dad's still with us at going on 96. And Memorial Day and Veterans Day are extremely important to him. He's
I would say. And what you're telling me there is that engineering and designing and creating and doing things this way, whether it was your father, your grandfather, the ladder company, or now Ghost Bed, it's in your blood, isn't it?
It's in my DNA. Yeah, I have lots of patents, as I think we've talked about in the past, for cooling patents and for adjustable bases, for anti-snore, for all kinds of things, packaging. And that's just what I do. I'm just an inventor. And I've been an inventor since I'm a kid, and as my dad is, as my grandpa was, and actually as my kids are too. And
here's something.
It
is your DNA, because here's something we haven't talked about, Mark, and we've talked a number of times over the last few months. But with everybody coming through this camping season, because Memorial Day is the official kickoff of summer, so people roll out the RV, they've got it all ready to go. And I've seen this for years. I've had RVs. I don't have one currently, but I have in the past. And you spend all this money, some big fancy RV, and they put the cheapest mattress in the world in these things. It's like, man, it was a cool machine. The kitchen's great, the couch is great, the layout's great. Then you lay on the mattress and go, meh. But you've done something about that.
Yeah, I realized they put a $49 mattress in a $50,000 to $500,000 RV. The experience of camping and sleeping out in kind of in the woods. So we took the Ghost Bed technology and we applied it to the sizes that are in the RV. So you've got a queen short, which is a little shorter, or a king short. We have it in all foam and hybrid, and we have unbelievable reviews. I mean, we sell on our website, and we also sell on Amazon. And I think on Amazon we have a 4.7, and that's a place that it's a tough audience there. There's more haters than there are legit. So when you have a 4.7, you got a good product, and we just see the feedback all the time. And a lot of the people that buy the RV mattress end up buying the mattress then for their home and get the split setup like you have, and are just loving it. Big fan.
Like I said, Ivy and I are absolutely thrilled. And I monitor my sleep with this ring. I've been doing that for about a year now. And you can see, I can go back and see the graph of where my sleep got a lot closer to optimum on a regular daily basis than where it was. I used to sleep okay, but now I sleep really, really well. And look, the only change I made was using your product, getting the Ghost Bed in my house, and it changed everything for us. And so let me just say something to the folks here. It's American made, right? It's not a cheapie, but it's better priced than a lot of the competition for better quality. As Mark just said, full of patents and ideas and tinkering that he does to make sure that, he's in good shape from his neck surgery. And as a result of all that, you benefit. And if you're still not sure, you get 101 nights to try this thing. And if you don't like it, and I don't know why you wouldn't, but if you don't, it's okay. You can send it back, right?
That's right. We'll actually pick it up. It's a hassleless kind of experience. We'll pick it up. We'll even try to figure out, okay, what's wrong with it, and then what can we do to fix that? Can we get you a different model? And usually we can get that resolved. We want the customer to be happy. That's the long-term win.
Yeah.
By the way, Steve, I was kind of bragging about your good Aura Ring success with your friend John Solomon, who was envious of those excellent results.
Well, John is a good man, and he's a good friend of ours as well. I know he's a friend of yours. Let me just say this. The Warner family is an all-American family. They've been doing things, building ladders and beds and doing things and creating jobs and doing great things. And here's something special for you today. You can save even more money. They're extending the Memorial Day sale for a few more days. So before it's too late, jump in there. You get an extra 10% off because you're an audience of this program. And you can have the same gratifying sleep that I have. I mean, it is wonderful. Mark Werner, always good talking to you, my friend. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Greatly appreciate it. You just go to ghostbed.com/Gruber. When you use the promo code Gruber, you're going to save that extra 10%. They've got the best sale of the year going on right now. Ghostbed.com/Gruber, promo code Gruber. Save 10%. Sleep great. And send me an email when you do. Or jump in the chat like some people have this morning and tell me how great your ghost bed is. All right, coming up on Forgotten America, the podcast, Ivy and I sit down with political commentator Dr. Steve Turley to discuss why millions of Americans are losing trust in the institutions that once defined public life, from government surveillance and big tech censorship to AI. It's a great conversation. And Turley says Americans are waking up to a system that feels more powerful and more intrusive. I feel the same way. Here's a preview.
The only way China can pull off their surveillance state, I kid you not, is by pushing this notion that this is a modern form of Confucianism. This is a modern form of Confucian-ordered society that they call Tianxia, the mandate of heaven. And I've read scholars who point out the only reason why Xi is doing that, they're very cynical, obviously, towards it. The only reason why Xi is doing that is because people completely lost faith in communism, the ideology of communism.
Of course they did. I never had faith in communism anyhow. Forgotten America, new episodes, including that one, drop on Monday mornings at 9 a.m. You can become a subscriber on YouTube. It's free. Check out these great conversations. Just click the QR code right there. Easy thing to do. You'll love these conversations. We talk about things that nobody else does on Forgotten America on YouTube. Just look up Steve Gruber. Sports with Brock after this. Did you know that American homeowners need... Well, keeping clean in the house, an important thing to do, obviously. It is an incredibly important thing to do, but there's this trend out there that might not be so safe, and that is taking your highly toxic, potentially poisonous cleaning chemicals and putting them into a cute bottle. The problem with that, so say my next two guests, is that you take away the child's safety caps, you take away the protections, you take away the remedy if something happens like you ingest these chemicals. That warning label has been discarded. Tareen Kreppe is the president of Safe Kids Worldwide, and Brian Sansoni is the senior vice president of communications, outreach, and membership at the American Cleaning Institute. Guys, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Nice to have you. All right, so what is this trend? Decanting, I think it's called. You take your cleaning products, your bleach, your household cleaners, whatever they are, and you put them into some nice, pretty bottle so it looks nice on the shelf or under the sink. First of all, I don't care. So to me, it seems a little bit odd because I don't look under the sink that often, and there are my cleaning products. But people are doing this, and it's a trend, isn't it?
Yeah, we've noticed it just over the past couple of years with the explosion of all the social media channels, TikTok or Instagram. Yeah, you literally see folks will take, say, laundry pods out of the original container, put them in a clear jar or canister, and then take photos of it and share it on Instagram or Pinterest. But what they're doing there is putting style over safety. Those child-resistant containers are there for a reason. And it has all the safety information and usage information. But when you take the product out of that original container, it's just putting it out there in the open. And we've noticed this trend continuing. The American Cleaning Institute did a recent survey. 60% of respondents say they already do it or will plan to do it or would consider storing cleaning products this way. And that's actually a 12% jump from when we surveyed it a couple of years ago. So it's a trend that it's headed in the wrong direction there. So that's why it's so important. Keep those cleaning products, laundry detergents in their original container.
Look, another reason to hate social media. I knew I'd find a reason today. And there it is. Tareen, you've spent your career trying to keep children safe. And I'll focus on those pods. For laundry detergent, for dishwashers, they're kind of the rave of the cleaning industry now because they're convenient, they're easy to throw in, there's no powder, there's no liquid, you just toss it in, away you go. But if you put it into a cute little container, to a 3-year-old, it might look like candy. That's the concern, isn't it?
Absolutely. And what we want parents to understand is to store these products up and away and out of sight and out of reach of children. And we know many families, they have laundry rooms or they may have to store their products in places where it's easily accessible for kids to be able to have access. And so what's important if you have to store them underneath a cabinet, please use a safety lock. But most importantly, we want you to keep them up and away and out of sight.
Yeah, so we're coming into National Safety Month. And poisoning, if you look at the CDC, it's one of the leading causes of injury and, unfortunately, of death. And some of these chemicals are potent. They're powerful, Brian. And not having them accessible to kids, there's a reason for that. I guess my question would be, if you're older, you live alone, you don't have kids or grandkids frequenting the house, then what harm is there?
Well, if you might have somebody come over, maybe a neighbor, they're watching their grandkids, or you have a neighbor come over or a friend. So it's just in those cases that where we would recommend still keeping the product in their original container. So because you never know these different scenarios with visits, friends, neighbors, relatives. So it's just better to play it safe, use these products as directed, store them as directed. So it's just taking that extra second for safety. No matter where you're at in life, it's just important to always keep these products out of sight, out of the reach of children. And one other point, sometimes there are individuals that suffer from dementia or memory loss.
Fair.
And that could be a threat there too. and especially if you're perhaps an older American. So
Yeah.
in these situations, it's really important, again, to make sure these products are out of sight, out of reach. They're not, right in front of a neighbor who may be suffering from, a cognitive disability.
Sure, and I guess this would extend to other products as well. Listerine comes to mind. Obviously, there's alcohol, and it has a safety cap on it, which I detest, but I get it. Also, prescription medications taken out of the prescription bottles and put into an easier container. That could be especially dangerous, couldn't it, Tareen?
Yes, and what's important is keeping these products in their original container. They have instructions, they have child resistance, and what we encourage families to understand most importantly is that should there be an accidental exposure to using these products incorrectly, please program the American Poison Center number in the phone at 1-800-222-1222. We have so many products that look alike, and so keeping them in their original container will allow a family to understand this is the product for that container, storing it out of sight and out of reach. Little kids like to explore, and we don't always understand if we don't have children in a home how important it is to keep these products out of sight and out of reach.
I guess the takeaway is here, you could look trendy and have something, pretty, but it could be pretty dangerous. And I'll leave it there. Brian, Tareen, really appreciate you both being here as we are on the verge of National Safety Month. Things to keep in mind when the kids and grandkids are around or the neighbor drops in. Or if somebody has dementia, like Brian mentioned, that's also a consideration. Guys, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Keep it clean, but keep it safe. That's the message today. All right, now when we come back, we're going to have Brock going to join me with sports here. Nice to see you. Of course, like I said, you can always send me an email. We read them all, everyone. We respond to as many as we can. Just go to stevegruber.com. It's my website. Drop me an email. Ivy will read it. I'll read it. Maybe Sister Sarah. Maybe Anthony will rifle through them. You just never know. But they'll get read. I guarantee it. I'll be right back. All right, let's check in with sports now and Brock Palmbush.
With a look at sports, I'm Brock Palmbush. The Carolina Hurricanes scored 3 goals in less than 3 minutes in the first period and cruised to a 4-0 shutout of the Montreal Canadiens in Game 4 of the NHL's Eastern Conference Finals last night in Montreal. Hurricanes lead the series 3-1. Carolina goes for the clinch tomorrow night in Raleigh, North Carolina. A full schedule in Major League Baseball yesterday. American League winners included Toronto, Cleveland, and Seattle. National League winners included the New York Mets, Chicago Cubs, and Los Angeles Dodgers. In the WNBA, there were 5 games last night. Winners were New York, Toronto, Minnesota, Portland, and Washington. And at the French Open in Paris, tennis's second major of the year, round 2 action began. On the men's side, second-seeded Sasha Zverev and third-seeded Novak Djokovic both won. On the women's side, third-seeded Iga Swiatek and seventh-seeded Alina Svitolina both won. That's a look at sports. Back to you, Steve.
All right, Brock, thank you for that. I greatly appreciate it. Well, here's something that's becoming more prevalent around the country, and I want to leave you with this hour. Resistance to all these solar fields. I don't call them farms because they're anything but a farm, and once the solar panels are in, those places can never be used for farming again. I think it's a complete waste of agricultural land, and it's a scam. It doesn't produce enough electricity to do what they're doing by any stretch. And one big hailstorm, and it's all over. New York is strong-arming 18 industrial-scale solar power plants in rural communities, despite the fact that these communities don't want them. And you have to ask yourself, why are these government agencies, local and state agencies, running over the people? In Michigan, the state took away local control so they can put these solar panels wherever they want and bypass local control at townships or counties. It's absolutely wrong. There's a reason you have local ordinances to prevent certain things from coming into your community. And Kathy Hochul continues to bulldoze hundreds of acres, hundreds, thousands of acres, because they don't care. People don't want this stuff. I want energy I can rely on, and I don't want some damn eyesore that was once a nice farm field. That's me. What are your thoughts? Again, email me. Love to hear from you. We'll take a break and be back. This is Daybreak.
America's awake, and we're just getting started. The headlines that matter, the stories they won't tell you, and the voices fighting to be heard. This is your country, your morning, your daybreak with Steve and Ivy Gruber. A new hour starts right now.
All right, welcome back to it as we jump right back into the conversation. Glad to have you here as we work through it. Here are three big things you need to know this hour. Number one, a cocaine pipeline from Puerto Rico to Charlevoix County, Michigan, has been dismantled. Several people charged in this criminal enterprise. Pretty strange. Number two, Iran once again now saying no deal. President Trump says we're close, and they say we're close, and then they say no deal. Stop the games. Open the Bombay doors. And number three, we'll do some different things here this hour. I've been telling you about this story for a while. The Peace Act. The Peace Act is an initiative in Oregon that would outlaw hunting, fishing, farming, harming animals in any way, up to and including mouse traps. All right, mouse traps. You couldn't even kill a rodent in Oregon. It's going to be on the ballot. It's going to be on the ballot, this Peace Act. Here is the latest news. Listen.
I'm Angelica Thornton, and this is your K2 Morning Minute. And this may sound like rage bait to many of you, but it is real. A petition to outlaw killing animals for food in Oregon is one step closer to the November ballot. The proposal would also ban hunting, fishing, and some forms of pest control. The Secretary of State's office still needs to verify the signatures before it can qualify.
Yeah, but it's qualified. This is going to be on the ballot, and expect this sort of thing to appear on a ballot in your state. Oregon is the test for this. This is the test initiative. And why is that? Why is there this movement to ban the eating of red meat? Oh, it's for climate change. Suddenly you have ticks with alpha-gal syndrome being spread. 450,000 Americans suffering from this allergy to red meat. And all mammals, for that matter. That's what it does. You have to ask yourself what's really happening. So they're trying to ban hunting and fishing and farming, even killing mice in Oregon. Now, I would hope it fails miserably. It would destroy Oregon's economy. No deer hunting, no elk hunting, no fishing for salmon or steelhead or in the ocean. And you just have to live with rats and mice, apparently, because you can't kill those cute little creatures either. The devastation to the agriculture in Oregon would be remarkable. The devastation to the hunting and fishing industry would be remarkable. And it's just, this is where they are. All right, my next little turn down the street takes me to chemtrails, which you guys talk about a lot. And we've had people on this conversation on the program. Well, Ginger Z, you know who she is. She's a national meteorologist on ABC News. And she says, yeah, it's real, at least in some extent. So for those that don't believe that chemtrails or manipulation of the atmosphere is real, it is. It's gone on for 100 years. It's gone on for 100 years. And so you have to ask yourself, when you see these massive floods in places like North Carolina or Texas, was it intentional? Was it accidental? Was it avoidable? Listen to this.
There are currently 42 cloud seeding projects across the American West, like this one in Utah, where they take planes like this with flares attached. They fly right into the storm and send microscopic particles into the cloud. Particles that act like magnets for water droplets, bonding together until they are heavy enough to fall to the ground as rain or snow. At the University of Colorado, researchers are working on artificial intelligence to deploy cloud seeding drones.
And it's not just cloud seeding from the sky. There are hundreds of those things. That shack you see in the foreground is a ground-based cloud seeder. The little flame coming out is sending tiny silver iodide particles up into the sky. When a storm comes through, they go up to 2,000 feet above our head, into the storm, up those mountains, and make more snow than it naturally would.
While cloud seeding has been helping get every last drop out of some of the driest years on record, this past winter, Mother Nature came through. The Southern Rockies, which feed the Colorado River, got more than 4 times their average snow. But experts say it's still not enough.
Oh, 4 times the average is not enough. Anyhow, that report goes on, but you ask yourself, what are they, trying to play God never works out all that well in my estimation. So, from concern to hope, I want to give you some hope here. We have a sauna here at this house we live in. When we bought this house a few years ago, there was a sauna. And I never thought much about the sauna. I'd used them in the past. Not a big. We use it all the time now. And Joe Rogan says, man, this is the key. Using the sauna is the key to long, healthy lives. Well, here's what he said.
Wow. And that dry sauna is where all the research from Finland comes out. They did over 20 years. They found that if you do the sauna 4 times a week for 20 minutes at 175 degrees, it's a 40% decrease in all-cause mortality.
Didn't they do that? Was a study in Italy? They
No,
did a
this was-
study of Italians who were doing sauna, and it was something similar to that.
It's all similar because it's all great for reduction of inflammation, increase of red blood cells. It has like a mild EPO effect on your endurance. Like one of the things that I've done, like every time I've been injured where I couldn't do cardio, I just did sauna every day, and then I'd go back to cardio, and it was not that much of a drop off. Not like it used to be.
Right.
Like it used to be like if I got hurt, I couldn't hit the bag, I couldn't do cardio for a while, and then I would go back to doing it like, oh God, I'm so out of shape.
Yeah.
So that drop-off doesn't happen as much, not nearly as much if you do sauna every day.
20 to 30 minutes, 4 times a week. I'm a little off my schedule. We were doing it that often. Now I'm a little off, so got to pick up the pace, I guess. Good for inflammation, good for red blood cells, good for your mental toughness. Our sauna can sometimes reach 200 degrees. It is, it's potent at that temperature. 200 degrees is borderline miserable, but we like it. And so there it is. Rogan says 4 times a week, 20 to 30 minutes at a time. There you have it. And I concur. All right. So, sauna. And, of course, hydration. Lots of water. And if you're tired of hard water ruining your appliances, staining your sinks, and drying out your skin, at Wolverine Water Systems, they've been delivering pure, clean, great-tasting water to Michigan families for more than 70 years. Whether it's well water or city water, the American-made water softeners and filtration systems are custom-built to fix your water problems. WolverineWaterSystems.com to find out more. You can get a free in-home water test scheduled today. My good friend Paul Mahaney has been running that company for decades. Everything that I have in my house is Wolverine. The reverse osmosis system, the softening system, the anti-iron, all of it. If your water smells funky or it's staining your shower or your clothes aren't getting as clean, well, you can do something about that. WolverineWaterSystems.com, pure clean water. Get a hold of my friend Paul. He'll hook you up. Free in-home water tests available right now. WolverineWaterSystems.com. I'll take a break and be right back. This is Daybreak. All right, let's jump right back into it. Are you ready to change? A lot of people, say, New Year's resolutions are a way to look at it, or I need to do something more positive, or I need to, make my career change. But my next guest says a lot of people just aren't ready for it, not mentally prepared for it. Dr. Lawrence Pfaff has spent more than 40 years helping people navigate change as a teacher, coach, therapist, consultant, executive coach, and professor. He discovered along the way that lasting transformation requires more than motivation or the willpower. He joins me now. Doctor, nice to see you today.
Good morning. How are you today?
I am well. And you say why knowing what to do, or even how to do it, not enough. Why not? If I know what to do and how to do it, and I set out to do it, why is that not enough?
Well, we have to be mentally ready for the change. I was frustrated early in my career because I would deal with people all the time, and they would sit down across from me and they'd say, I know exactly what I need to do, I just don't do it. And I think we see that all the time. I mean, if all it took was knowing what to do differently, we would all be perfect human beings. We'd all be perfectly fit, and we'd be all, what do we call it, self-actualized and all that good stuff. But if you're not mentally, emotionally ready to actually take action, you're not going to do it.
All right, so here's my question, because I'm concerned that, people don't really change. They just get older. They're set in their ways by the time they're 18 or 20 years old, and that's just kind of the pattern they follow. That's true for a lot of people, isn't it?
It is true. But this goes back to some research that was done, which is the foundation of the work I've done back in the late 1980s and 1990s. There were a group of psychologists who worked with addiction, with addicts, and said, is there a standard process or standard when people actually do change? Because, it takes a long time to change addictions. And they found there were 5 phases that people go through. And if you try and do the wrong things at the wrong phase, it isn't going to work. Part of it is starting out learning that you really do have a problem. The first phase they call pre-contemplation. People aren't aware. I call it clueless. And then
I like that word.
You really don't know. And we know people like that all the time.
Sure.
We can sit in a room with family members, and everybody knows that Larry's got a problem, except Larry. And we know that. So the first step is being aware. But it's being confronted with something that's hard to deny. You can't deny it.
Well, that's right. The first way to solve a problem is to identify the problem, right? Whatever the problem may be. Exactly. Maybe it's the lack of motivation. Maybe it's you need a new job. Maybe you need to lose weight or stop drinking. All of these things have the same common denominator. But you talk about the psychology of readiness. Alcoholics, I'll use that as an example. A moment of clarity when they finally realize, hey, I'm not doing this right. I need to change things. But how do you have that motivation and the psychology of readiness to really make a difference?
Let me finish what we started off with. So you have to start by learning that I have a problem. Then the next step is dealing with that struggle of, do I really want to change or not? It isn't just, now I know I'm going to do it. I have to make a commitment. There's an ambivalence there. Like, yeah, I know I need to change, but do I really want to? And that's a certain process that you go through of coming to the conclusion that, yes, I definitely want to do that. Then once you get past that point, now it's preparing. Now I can actually start to prepare things and actually start to, lay out a plan. And then once I've laid out the plan, the next step, the fourth step is taking action on that plan. And then finally, after I've done that plan for a while, now I can get to maintenance where it's my new normal. And the mistake that most of us make is we jump from, I know I need to change, to taking action on it. And if you jump 2 steps early like that, you're not ready for the change. You're not mentally ready for it. You won't persist. And that's the problem.
So I'll use an example of dieting. In my life, when I've done it and I've mentally prepared myself, or observing Lent, another way that you've got to be, I'm going to give this up. Well, if you're not mentally ready to do it 3 days in, you're like, well, maybe next year. But the years that I actually think about it and prep myself were very successful. Same thing with getting in shape and other things. But you have to you have to actually just not say it. You actually have to be, and I agree with you. You have to ready the garden before you plant the plants, right?
Exactly. And even the idea of going on a plan. If I say I'm going on a diet, I am implying that my diet is not normal. And then I'm going to go back to normal, which is the bad diet. Once I'm off the 12-week plan, I'm back to normal, and normal is not the good stuff.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. Ready, Set, Change. The book is available. And I hope you find real results here, because there are things that people want to change about their personal life, their professional life, their physical appearance. But you have to, like I say, you got to till the earth before you plant the seeds, and make sure you're ready to follow through in that regard. I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, well, let me just say about the book. It's a tale of 21 managers that I worked with for a year. So it's a story about what those people went through and how they went through the change process. So I tried to make the change process easy for people to understand, for the average person. And most of the time we don't have that. It's not academic. And it takes knowing what you need at the right time. And it's not hard to do, but it does take time.
Well, time is something most of us have, whether we know it or not, especially if you're busy. Busy people get things done. Doctor, I really appreciate you being here. Interesting, and I happen to, I think you're right. So there's that. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, sir.
Greatly appreciate it, yeah. You can't do it if you're not truly emotionally vested and ready to go. That's a fact. I'll take a break and be back after this. You know, I've read about it, and I've seen newscasts and other accounts of these fentanyl pipelines running to places like Minot, South Dakota, or Billings, Montana, or anywhere deep in the north, what people would probably not normally consider the end of the line for these drug cartels, but that is what has happened. The influx of illegals in this country created networks of people, allowing the drugs to flow all over this country, to big cities and small towns, to back roads. And apparently that's happened in Charlevoix, Michigan. A major cocaine pipeline tied to Charlevoix dismantled, at least 6 people facing criminal charges after a multi-month investigation. The criminal affidavit said the cocaine originated from Central America. Edgar Joel Beltran Mercado mailed the cocaine from Puerto Rico to the Charlevoix post office. Next, the drugs were delivered to Omar Norberto Melendez Flores and others. Some of the shipments landed at a storage facility next door to the post office. Charlevoix County Prosecutor Kit Dolan saying that the average daily use of cocaine addict ranges from 0.5 gram to 3.5 grams. He added that 2.2 pounds, 1,000 grams, means hundreds of daily users were represented in each shipment. Following the extradition of Beltran Mercado from Puerto Rico, all 6 were arrested and are making their way through the court system. Wide range of charges. Some are facing sex crime charges as well. Drug trafficking and human trafficking. These two things sadly go hand in hand. And as a result, well, bad things happen. But in Charlevoix County, looks like they've got it taken care of. For those of you in southern Michigan, the Doty Service Network, they know comfortable home means everything to your family. That's why they have expanded their services. Same great people with a new name, and now plumbing and appliance repair as well. Whether it's heating, cooling, fixing life's little emergencies, Doty is growing to serve you better, because when your home is happy, your family is too. I use Doty for all of my needs. Visit Doty Mechanical. That's D-O-T-Y, DotyMechanical.com, or call 517-327-7777. Doty, your home's new best friend. Experience the Doty difference. And I'll be right back. All right, welcome back to it. My next guest, one of my favorites on social media. He entertains me greatly and often, which I greatly appreciate. James David Dixon is a Michigan-based strategist, founder of the Make Politics Local Again movement, host of the James Dixon podcast, former New York Post swing state reporter, and just an overall good guy. James, nice to see you.
Having me, Steve.
Yeah, you entertain me greatly on social media. Just so you know, I find you highly entertaining, highly often. So you're very consistent. All right, so you argue in a new conversation, Michigan Enjoyer, another place where you can be found. You say authenticity is really important in 2026, and this comes to mind because of Mallory McMorrow, one of the 3 Democrats leading the race to become the Michigan Democrat nominee for the U.S. Senate seat that is going to be up for grabs. Look, she came from California, trash-talked Michigan, praised California, and apparently was voting in elections in California after she had moved to Michigan permanently. I would say that's 3 strikes, but look, I'm not a Democrat voter, so... but it's a problem, isn't it?
It's absolutely a problem. I mean, you look at Haley Stevens, and the biggest mark they have against her, certainly on social media, is that she's too Michigan. Haley is pure Michigan. She's awkward in the way we're awkward. She's folksy in the way we're folksy. And then you have Abdul El Sayed, the fake doctor, who has some of that Mom Dami in him. He has the ability to be charming, though I would also argue that, you know, he can veer the other direction as well. Then you have Mallory McMorrow, who essentially, if you look at her own timeline, moved to Michigan essentially to be a politician. She officially moves here in 2016, she says, her own words. Then by 2018, she's running for Michigan Senate and wins that seat. So she came here to be a politician, and ever since, she sought out to change Michigan, not to be a neighbor to us in Michigan.
Yeah. Abdul El Sayed, by the way, is about as warm and cuddly as Hassan Piker, the guy on the campaign trail with him. Let's just be honest about that. These are not great candidates. And I think for the first time in a while, we're seeing the Democrats do what Republicans sadly have done too many times, put up lousy candidates. I think McMorrow's baggage here is going to bring her down. And right now, when I look at Real Clear Politics and the polling that's been done, El Sayed is leading. And I don't know that somebody who's been openly anti-Semitic, that campaigns with Hassan Piker, who hates America, obviously, and wants to make America communist or whatever his deal is, I don't think that's a good look. I don't think people get behind any. And Haley Stevens, she might be folksy, but she's also not strong. I think the Democrats have a problem here. And I look around the country and I look at, Plattner, Graham Plattner there in Maine. I see the same problem. I see the Democrats are putting up these terrible candidates. Do you see the same thing?
Absolutely. And I think these kind of things work until they don't work, right? And I think sometimes we can over-infer from past success. So you have a guy like Mondami win mayor of New York City, and you think now there's just some massive appetite for these, kind of Islamist, third worldist type candidates. I think for Syed to work, Detroit or Dearborn would need to be the size of Detroit, our biggest city in Michigan. And it's just not. Whether it's anti-Semitism, whether it's the fact that this guy's never held a job for more than 3 years, whether the fact that he's a career nomad running for a position in the U.S. Senate that would require him to sit still for 6 years, nothing about his story makes sense. And Mallory McMorrow is the only one who makes less sense than that on the Democrat side.
Yeah. Let me share a couple more stories that don't make any sense. I'm going to shift gears on you. Mike Duggan drops out of the race for governor and claims it's because of the Iran war. I'm sorry, you're running for governor in Michigan. What the hell does the Iran war have to do with you running for governor in Michigan, sir? Your thoughts on that one, James?
The whole thesis of make politics local again, the reason I started this movement is this idea that what do Republicans do in the post-Trump era, which started the day after Election Day 24? Donald Trump's name will never appear on another ballot. How do you win anyway, especially with the national media and even our Michigan media telling you horrible stories, wanting to talk about Iran and gas prices and all these far-flung things? And the theory is you make politics local again by talking about conditions on the ground in Michigan. You talk about who crashed Michigan into the rocks and how they did it. And I think Mike Duggan could have done that. His problem is he was never an independent. He was a Democrat. And the only way he could present as a change candidate is by attacking Gretchen Whitmer, whose support he probably would have needed to have success.
True that, but I think he would have pulled. Look, I talked to a lot of moderate Republicans. It's the polite term. It's a family show. Moderate Republicans who thought that Duggan was an attractive candidate. You know, they're not really Trump supporters. They voted for him, but he wasn't really their favorite, but they did it because the alternative was worse. I think Duggan had a shot at doing well, and it's just an odd thing that he dropped out when he did. I feel like he was pressured by somebody, James. I do. I feel like the pressure came from somewhere. It wasn't just in a vacuum. Anyhow, let me ask you about a mutual friend who also entertains me greatly on social media, Charlie LaDuff. Banned from Mackinac. Charlie smoking Pall Malls or whatever it is he smokes, and being banned from Mackinac because he's not a legitimate journalist. He's a Pulitzer Prize-winning writer with a number of Emmys and everything else, but he's not invited because, well, he's not. He is authentic, James. You want authentic? There's Charlie LaDuff. I think he is who he is. But they wouldn't let him in. What do you think of that?
Yeah, Charlie actually finds menthol to put into his cigarettes. He doesn't buy menthols; he makes menthols.
Of course he does.
That's how Charlie LaDuff rolls. And as a journalist, right, I would be so embarrassed if I were given a credential to cover the Mackinac Policy Conference while Charlie LaDuff, with Pulitzers and more awards than you could fit in the house I live in, to his name, is denied that credential. What it would seem to me is that if I got a credential, that must mean they think of me as state media, printing approved narratives, whereas Charlie's plan was he was gonna show up and tell the truth. And I guess there's just no appetite for truth.
Yeah, we'll have none of that.
Can't have it.
Silence! Yeah. Silence! Anyhow, all right, here's my guess, James, and you can weigh in or defer. I think because of the Democrat field for Senate bringing this back around, I think Mike Rogers stands a very good chance of being successful for the first time for a Republican in many years because of the three candidates the Democrats are putting up. I also think that because of the damage that Jocelyn Benson has so much baggage right now, I think the Republicans have a shot at winning the governor's mansion as well. I'll give you the last word here. What's it going to take to win the Senate seat and for Republicans to be in the governor's mansion?
Senate is a solitary position, but I would argue that in 26, Senator Alyssa Slotkin is actually Mike Rogers' running mate right now. The idea that she was this moderate Democrat, and that's why some people split tickets and voted for her, then she gets to Washington and immediately starts committing sedition against President Trump. And so I think there's so much buyer's remorse for how Alyssa Slotkin carries herself that we don't want to send another Democrat to Washington and be watching those videos. Imagine El Sayed and the kind of clips that would emerge from that. It would be an embarrassment day in, day out.
It certainly would.
I think we're ready finally for a steady hand. And in the governor's race, Michigan history says we trade the governor's office every 8 years since term limits, and Republicans are due.
Republicans are due. James David Dixon, you should come back more often. I truly enjoy you. I do. Nice to see you, my friend. Anytime you want.
Steve.
There you go. I'll take a break. He puts a smile on my face. I'll be right back. All right. Ivy sent me the funniest video, but you don't get to know about it till tomorrow.
That's right. It is Friday tomorrow, isn't
Yeah,
it? My
short
goodness.
week. Yeah, everybody screwed up with a short week. But anyhow, great video. It's Ivy's birthday. Happy birthday, Ivy. We all love you. The whole world loves you. They do. I watch the comments in the feeds, and they really do adore you. So hopefully that.
Woohoo! That's so nice. I adore you too.
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
okay.
I wanted you to know for my birthday, I booked us tickets to go visit Boston.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. Oh, yeah.
Because we're going to Mayor Michelle Wu's Office of LGBTQ Advancement Pride event for Trans Period Pride to discuss menstrual equity and the experiences of transgender menstruate. How do you even say that?
Menstruate. So here's the thing.
I'm a woman. I'm like, what in the world are we talking about?
Thank you for keeping it medical.
Yeah. So here's the thing. If men had periods or had to have children, there would be no children. There would be no children. Brock, where am I wrong?
True.
I'm not wrong.
I thought my 2 kidney stones were really bad, but everybody tells me Brock doesn't even compare.
So what I find interesting, though, is that this office has received $1 million in taxpayer funding this year. And on this, I'm sure Anthony has a little billboard up there, but this event is free to attend, and you will be receiving a catered dinner and free period underwear provided to all attendees.
To men.
It's like, what? Well, I mean,
to men. Ivy, let's do it. I know you did okay in school. I'm going back to a review. Can men have babies?
no,
Can men menstruate?
no.
A
biological male, no.
So trans women are women? No, they're not.
They are not.
Okay, good talk.
I know. And I just think that this is so outrageous.
Oh,
I mean, what in the
just so
world?
dumb.
And it's like, what a smack to the face of women who actually have to endure this most of their life. And not only then do we have to endure it, then we have to go to this wonderful thing called menopause. We know where our hormones are out of whack, and the men are generally our husbands and the people around us really love us because we're like, either hot or cold or dying or angry or happy or crying. That all can happen in the time of 5 minutes.
Yeah, there's nothing better than waking up in the morning in a lake of sweat. That
Right,
is, yeah.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
Well, I because they're burning up, they're freezing cold, they're burning up, and I'm like, would you figure it out already? It is. Guys have been through it. You know what I'm talking about. It's we roll with it, but it is kind
Generally,
of just life.
You're like
You love them anyway.
chiseling
Exactly.
icebergs off your nostrils because I have it
Exactly.
sub-zero temperatures at
It's
night.
so hot in this room. It's 51. It's so hot. It's 51, babe. Turn on the air conditioning.
Listen, the women out there that are going through this can completely relate to what I'm talking about.
I know. Or have
So-
been through it or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, 100% true.
It's just
Yeah.
part of life.
But you know who's not going to go through that? Trans women.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we're clear. That's not going to happen to trans women who are
I
not women.
I don't even understand why biological men want to really pretend that they could do this. Like, I want to have my period. Okay, that's so stupid.
Yeah, come on.
So dumb.
It's so
but
dumb.
anyhow, I have another question for you.
All right.
So biologists in China have cloned wild yaks, this golden wild yak, because the numbers are dwindling. There's fewer than 300 in this particular region. And so they actually have successfully produced wild yak embryos and so now they're going to be artificially inseminating. What do you think about this?
I'm all for it. I just pulled it up. It's a beautiful animal.
Yeah, it is.
It's a real yaks generally unattractive. All right, in the world of animals, yaks are this is a beautiful animal. It's got big tufts of. It's got like this beautiful golden sheen. And it's got tufts of hair on its legs. It's worth saving. It's a subspecies, so really it's just a yak.
Yeah.
It's well, and I say that because a black bear can be blonde.
Right,
a black
true.
bear can be chocolate colored. But a black bear is just a black. It's just what this is a color phase yak is what I'm getting at.
Oh.
I wonder what they're like to eat.
I'm not sure. I think they do use them for their coats, though, don't they?
I was looking at this animal. I would think they should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, their milk is provided for food and oil for lighting. Interesting. But, I always get a little concerned about when we're talking about cloning things.
Well, and I appreciate that. There is concern that Dolly, the first sheep that was cloned back, what was that, 20 years ago now? Those things are concerning. You hear about people that want to clone themselves. If you're that arrogant, we have enough of you. We don't need two.
I mean, I could use another one of me just to get stuff done.
Well, I appreciate that. And,
I wouldn't want to clone myself, no.
If I had 6 Ivies, I would own the world.
That's true.
I would dominate the world. We would own everything. We would run everything. We'd have everything.
That's a perfect thing to say on her birthday.
It's also true, Brock.
And by the way, let's get to the important stuff. What is Mrs. Gruber getting for her birthday? What are the plans?
Well, she already snuck it in.
Or is it a surprise?
No. It was, and then it wasn't. Because I had this great idea, and then she said, hey, I'd really like to go get this beautiful Yamaha electric piano. So she's been learning to play piano recently, and that's
cool.
So we went and got it. I said, as my mother used to say, well, it's almost your birthday. She goes, but I don't want to wait. I'm like, fine. So we went off. We did that, a week ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know what else is incoming, but
what about birthday dinner?
Oh.
Well, we've got that scheduled for later at a place that we will not name, but
okay,
Brock, But she also got this gorgeous French
Le
Creuset Dutch oven from her parents that showed up today. It is spectacular.
I'll be looking forward to cooking a delicious dish.
I'll be looking forward to opening that dish, doing nothing else with it, just opening it.
Well, thank you for all the birthday wishes. I love you, Steve.
Love you too, babe. We'll be right back. All right, here's one last bit of news I want to share with you before we go today. And this is one of the reasons that Donald Trump has been focused on Greenland. You haven't heard Greenland in the headlines lately. Well, great news. Real Alloys, RE Alloys, Real Alloys, has locked in a long-term supply deal with one of the largest known heavy rare earth deposits in the world. It is in Greenland. The rare earth deposit contains dysprosium and terbium, strategically sensitive magnetic materials used in fighter aircraft, missile systems, radar platforms, drones, advanced defense hardware. And, settle down. We'll be done soon. You can eat. I'm being raided by little kitty, so that's all right. Anyhow, that's good news. And you wonder why Donald Trump was focused on such things. This company from Euclid, Ohio, by the way, is going to be one of the only companies in America currently that can convert rare earth oxides into defense-grade metals, alloys, and the strongest, most advanced magnets. Refining has always been our problem. Finding rare earth elements has not been the problem. Refining capacity has been. Here, turn around. They all want to see you. There you go. Oof. There you go. Well, there you go. Anyhow, the whole team here today, and we appreciate you being here as well. Look, you can find out more at stevegruber.com. Follow me on social media. Don't forget to become a subscriber for free on YouTube for the Forgotten America podcast. That's all available to you as well. And, come here for all your latest news, information, and cats for all your latest.
Got another one, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't. It was snuck into the house when I wasn't looking, anyhow.
You have 16 cats.
17. Anyhow, fight the good fight, keep the faith. God bless America. I'm Steve Gruber. This is Daybreak. And remember, only you can save America.
Don't forget to call tomorrow for Free for All Friday.
Yeah, don't forget to call tomorrow for Free for All Friday, brought to you by Patriot Mobile.
Free speech, Free for All Friday.
See? Everybody's on board.
Everything if it was.
Everything's free.
If it was ran by.
Don't say everything. No, not everything's free. The call is free, though, toll free.
That's right.